Hi, in this session we'll talk about how your online course can really make a difference for a learner. Now we've talked about transactional distance, and that typically is regarded as the perceived distance between the instructor and the student. And you see it can be psychological, geographic, communications distance, but the idea is that this distance can cause a potential misunderstanding between the instructor and the learner. Well, that's certainly may be true of a face-to-face classroom, but a good online course has more going on than that. And in this image of how do you make a great online course, we see not just teacher to student, but so we certainly have the interaction between learner and instructor, but we also have the interaction between learner and content. That's pretty important, isn't it? And learner to learner, and this even has learner to technology. Now the technology in a good course should be almost invisible, so let's kind of not include that. But let's see where these others go. Now in the transactional distance model, the one that is emphasized again is between student and teacher. And the idea there is that the teacher gives feedback and the instructor has a large instructor presence in an online course. So the instructor is sort of bigger than life, maybe. For the interaction between student and content, so there's feedback there too, sometimes in the form of quizzes, sometimes just in the form, the way the course is structured. But our models so far are not including the learner-to-learner interaction. And a good online course may have a strong collaboration component. If that's true, then the instructor has organized feedback partly through peers, through collaboration. But what else can we learn from this? Well, in a way that model has limitations because there are some fixed ideas in there. The idea that a course has a beginning, an end, and it doesn't go beyond that. Well, when the course ends, the teacher goes away. So the instructor is no longer a part of the model. So what's left? Well, the knowledge and the learner. Now, a course often has a fixed model of knowledge, meaning that the knowledge that is presented in the course and it doesn't change, and it assumes the learner doesn't change. Well, or is that true? If we take a look at the flip side of those limitations, we see opportunities. We see growth models of knowledge. So a good course will provide avenues for the learner to continue their knowledge and to learn about updates in that knowledge. So the course should have links to the outside world, to various sources of continuing and up-to-date knowledge. Similarly, the learner. The learner, this little guy, is expected to grow and mature. And if the course content is that student's interest, then that will be satisfied with this expansion of knowledge ability in the learner. But there's another model also, one that's frequently used in contrast to the old 3 R's. The new 3 R's are rigor, relevance, and relationships. So if we think of relevance, well, that's the expansion of knowledge in ways that it can be creatively applied. Relationships, again, in a good course with collaborative projects, the learner develops relationships that may be personal or professional with other course members that may expand their ongoing personal and professional network. So an ideal course has a substantial amount of motivation built into it. Now, the typical idea of rewards, of badges or grades or whatever, that's short term. It comes to a screeching halt when the course ends. But what can continue? The joy of content mastery as the student continues to learn and grow can be a source of satisfaction and continued motivation. Similarly, with the creative application of the course knowledge tends to connect to personal goals. And if the course content supports the achievement or the pursuit of personal goals of the learner, then the benefits of the course continue after its official end date. So with these in mind, we may not be able to create a perfectly ideal course, but we can create courses that make lasting differences in student learning and possibly their lives.